As you can see from this mess, this video did not go as planned. So yeah, we're gonna continue on with this video so you'll know what I'm talking about. All right, today we have one of our biggest projects. We are doing the Evo X control arm replacement for the Ralliart. We are not only going to be replacing the control arms, but we're going to also be putting in some performance parts. We have some new ball joints, outer tie rod ends, some bushing kits, and some new sway bar end links for both the front and the back. And since we're going to be basically under the car and taking everything out, we might as well just replace all the bolts that are down there. So I tried to figure out pretty much which ones I needed. So we'll see if they actually fit or not. But you know, this is what this is for, and we're gonna find out. If you ever wanted to do something like this, you're definitely gonna need a kit for pushing out like the ball joints, and you know, maybe using that as well to push out the bushings. These things have been sitting at my place for a while, so it's finally time to get this started. The first thing we're gonna do is have an amateur attempt at removing these bushings and this ball joint. So wish me luck. And you're definitely gonna need one of these ball joint press kits. And this is probably gonna be the only way that we are able to remove this, and possibly these, we will see. And so before you do any kind of pushing with the clamp, you just wanna make sure that you remove this ring. Just make sure that if you're doing this with an Evo X arm, it is aluminum. So just be careful, remove this first. Kind of was able to push this clip off over the top of the ball joint, and with the help of using those snap ring pliers and this flathead. So if you don't have the appropriate tools like I do, then this might work out for you as well. And then just be ready for this to launch out of the area. It is loaded a little bit, so if you got any vehicles around, just be aware. You might want to hold this with something else, some pliers or something, but just be careful. As far as it looks, and as far as I know, this is just more casting than anything else. No damage done to the other side. This is gonna be all right, you know, and it'll work, and we'll still be good, and it'll still function fine. Positive vibes. Well, I did the other arm too, the other ball joint, and I guess like it couldn't be avoided for me. This kit probably is not right for the Evo or the Ralliart, but yeah, looks like this kind of shaved off as well. Like I said, the good thing is that everything here inside the actual bore seems to be fine. Nothing crazy. So yeah, I guess we'll just cut this off with the Dremel and whatever's left of this, and then sand it down a little bit and continue on. Well, this project just got quite a bit longer, so to be able to get this out, I only have this cylinder ring for the press kit to actually push it out, but I don't have anything to hold this ridge here, so I'm gonna have to look on Amazon or somewhere to be able to find something that I can probably make with this press kit. So yeah, kind of stuck here a little bit. Same thing for the front bushing. Everything I have is just a little bit too big and a little bit too small. So a little bit too big for the actual bushing, metal part of the bushing. Just gonna have to look for more stuff. Sometimes you get ahead of yourself, and this is one of those cases. We'll just have to be patient. All right, and then we cleaned up the bottom side of the ball joint housing on the lower control arm. So got this sanded down, and yeah, on to another day. Well, many days into the future, we finally were able to think of something. First, this part. We're using a 1-inch socket. It barely fits in here before it starts slipping. It's not on there evenly, but I'm not too worried about it because the bushings we're gonna put on there do not require a metal sleeve on the arm. So I'm not too worried about the imperfections that might happen because we're pushing this out. And then as you can see, I have a little metal plate that I kind of grinded at, and this is just to hold the socket in place so it won't basically slip out or anything. So far it's kind of pushing through, so I'm gonna keep going at this and hopefully just no issues. Look at that, freaking beautiful. Now instead of using this smaller 1-inch socket that we bought, we're gonna use this larger impact socket just to get the rest of this out, now that we have a little bit more of room to kind of play with back here. And then also we use a slightly deeper piece of this press kit just so we get the rest of this out and not worry about the bushing bottoming out right here. No real damage, just markings from the old bushing. So I would say that was pretty effective. Dope. So for the larger bushing, as you can see, I kind of went kind of crazy with it. I used my jigsaw basically to just cut around the rubber parts of it, just because this diameter bushing is so large. It's really hard to find anything that I guess can act as support while the bushing is being pushed out. So I cut it, and I'm going to use something makeshift. Basically, these kind of circular plates for conduit I found at Home Depot. So this one is basically 3 1/4, and it goes around the area just perfectly, so it doesn't touch on the inside of this. So I'm going to use it as support while I use one of the other press kit parts to push this out. And since this is low clearance and I don't have this anymore, it should work just fine. And this is what I got going on to take this out. As you can see, I have some steel plates to give it a little more strength down here, just enough to where this is basically holding the outside edge of where the bushing is. And this is pushing the bushing in with the C-clamp. And I have this other clamp with another plate, basically to hold the control arm to the table, make sure it's like sitting flat. That way we don't do any damage to the arm. So yeah, kind of crazy. That was something else. We finally got the rear bushing off of the lower control arm. We did kind of have to scratch up some spots, but overall it looks like it's in great condition. We didn't really mess it up. I had to use the jigsaw to like basically cut this and then start hammering away with the flathead to get this off. So needless to say, this isn't usable anymore. I mean, we cut off the all the rubber anyways, but I finally got this out. And yeah, I definitely recommend, if you can find somebody with the press or something that probably has like the right diameter tools to, you know, hold this and push out the bushing, I'd 100% recommend that, because yeah, this is a pain in the butt, and I know I'm gonna have to do another one. So I'm just glad we finally cleaned this control arm up. But if you do decide to do this the hard way like me, just want to show you what I do. You want to use one of the press kit parts, press kit cups, to push this basically halfway. The reason I say that is because it's actually kind of the same diameter as the bushing of the actual cup. So I guess if you go in too much, it'll basically get stuck. So, you know, using WD-40 like penetrant would be very helpful here. That's kind of what I'm doing. But once you get it halfway, I was using a jigsaw to kind of cut halfway through the bushing ring, the metal part of the bushing, and then just kind of doing it slowly with a little metal saw, and then once I'm finished getting down to where I think I'm comfortable, I'm basically just going to hammer this out with a flathead and a hammer. So yeah. And so what I actually ended up doing was getting the metal down to where I was comfortable, hammering a little bit, but then I decided this time to actually use the vice grips and just be careful when you're folding this. Like, that's basically it. So that's gonna be pretty easy to take out, I would assume. And just gonna push it. Awesome. As you can see, we learned from our process. And I think that's the important part, because this was way easier to take out than this. Way easier. All right, so now that we have the control arm pretty much cleaned, it's time to install the Whiteline bushings and ball joint. So yeah, now the first thing we're gonna do is the rear of the control arm. So we got a little bit of makeshift tools to get that installed, and that's where we're gonna get started. So based on the Whiteline instructions for this larger rear bushing, we wanna have this Whiteline logo right here, basically turned at a 90-degree angle from the upper bushing. So we would kind of just have to have it like this and just turn it 90 degrees this way. And it doesn't have to be perfect or anything like that, but just as best as you can. But this is the way it needs to be installed according to Whiteline's instructions. Since we don't have a press and we just have a C-clamp, I got this this steel pipe cover. This actually has an 89mm diameter, so it kind of holds the surface area from the bottom side pretty well. And then, of course, you're basically using these cups from the C-clamp that we have. And we kind of just drilled this metal plate with basically a hole dozer, just so we can get a little bit more uniform hold here on the bushing as we press down. So I did not end up using the makeshift plate over there, just because I needed to get better visibility of the bushing. And so this is as good as I could get it to stay, you know, kind of even and flush. It is kind of turning more on this side than the other side. But hopefully once it pushes in enough, it'll straighten out. We'll test that theory in a little bit. All right, so we were able to get it in. If you're ever doing this, be very careful. You know, kind of make sure everything is aligning properly. Because if it's even off just a little bit, and once this starts moving, you know, it could go in at an angle and you'll have lots of trouble trying to get it right. But we got this centered as best as we could, and it finally slipped in like almost perfectly. So now we're just gonna basically drill it in the rest of the way and try to keep it flush with the arm. And so there it is. This side still just a little bit higher than over here. I've been kind of going back and forth, switching the C-clamp, changing the side that it puts more pressure on. We're actually going to use the plate that we made just to get it all evenly flat on the control arm. Having installed this, I would say just save yourself the trouble. I feel like just getting a hydraulic press, you know, with some proper backing plates will work out a lot better for you. So only do this if you really have to. Sitting pretty flush, really good. It was a pain to install like this, but we were able to get it installed. So, you know, onto the paw joint. We're going to have to remove this boot. That way we can basically get it pushed in through here, and then we'll put the boot back on once it's installed. It's a lot easier than the rear bushing. We have all the cups that we need and all of the plates basically. We don't need to buy any third-party anything or like anything from Amazon to kind of makeshift. If you can see down here, it's important that we get the proper plate and cup, That way the tip of the ball joint can pass through down here and it doesn't interfere with getting this installed. So that looks pretty good, minus, you know, all this scratching, just because you are putting metal on metal, you're gonna scratch that paint. So nothing you can do about it unless you get something to protect it. And we look down here, and so looks pretty flush. So now we just got to put on the snap ring. And here we are with our snap ring pliers, and all we got to do is just open it up. This snap ring is being kind of a punk, so I had to use both my hands. There it is, installed pretty good. And we just got to put this boot back on, and then we move on to the front bushing on this arm. My only criticism on this ball joint is this rubber boot. It's not really that strong, and it's just being held in by these like rings. Yeah, I don't know how long that'll last, but yeah, I mean, everything else seems to be like pretty well done quality and everything, but I would just say the boot is yeah, it's a little weak to me. I mean, this is the OEM one that I took off, and this boot is like really thick and strong. But yeah, my only criticism on this. And then the final piece to the control arms is the front bushing. I'm really glad these aren't pressing. This is way better. It feels really good too, really nice quality. So let's go ahead and put some grease on this, prep it, and then put it inside the bore of the control arm. All right, that was the easiest thing I'll do today. We got everything installed on this arm, so now it's just doing the other one. And finally, we got everything together. You know, we got the bushings and ball joints installed on both control arms. We didn't do any kind of damage that I noticed or saw or felt on the aluminum arms for the Evo X. That will now be going on the RalliFart. Just trying to do this replacement in itself is really difficult, especially if you don't have like a hydraulic press and you don't have like the proper cups to be able to push out, press in, and all of this stuff. If you're gonna be doing this with your Evo X arms or whatever, definitely we recommend getting a hydraulic press or finding someone who has one, just because it does make the job so much easier. But you know, we did the best that we could, and everything seems to look awesome. And now that we finally got this finished, we need to prep for install on the RalliFart. So really excited that we get to now install these on the RalliFart and see how different it drives. I just got to clean all this junk, so until next time.